We are Mike and Taylor, and these are our dogs, Penny and Lucy. 4 years ago, we sold our home and everything we owned, moved onto a 40-foot boat, and sailed from Seattle. This is the story of us making our way. Welcome back, friends. We've been working our way through the beautiful Bahamas for the last few weeks, and today we're in the Abacos, the northernmost set of islands, and we're in a tiny little hideout of a bay on a mooring wall, waiting for some major weather systems to pass us by. And we're also preparing for something very exciting, our jump to stage for our passage to the United States. The other kind of crazy wind events here in the Bahamas, and a lot of squally action, lots of thunderstorms. Yeah, we've seen videos from some friends here. Someone just got struck by lightning last night. Someone saw, 55 knots on their anchor this morning. It's been kind of crazy. Luckily, we've been kind of tucked into this little bay on a mooring wall. It's not a very beautiful or exciting bay otherwise, but it's very good protection from all this chaos. And I think we are leaving here tomorrow. So we're just walking the girls around town, letting them stretch their legs a little bit. It's gonna be a long one tomorrow. It's gonna be all day, so boat bound. But I just love these cute little houses painted these pastel colors. We met up with some subscribers and new friends for dinner and prepared for a long day of travel in the morning and our last couple days in the Bahamas. And then we were treated to a total surprise from Cape Canaveral. That was so cool. When we left Shelter Bay Marina a billion years ago down in Panama, when we entered the Atlantic Ocean for the first time on our way to San Blas, we had a couple dolphins off our bow there. That is the only wildlife we've seen on all of the passages that we've done. So that's from Panama to Colombia, from Colombia to Puerto Rico to Bahamas. These long passages, we seen nothing. No whales, no dolphins. It's all just been flying fish and some birds here and there. It's been a long time since we've had a pod of dolphins come say hi, so that was very cool. They didn't hang long, but that's okay. They got places to be, right, we made it to Great Sail, Bahamas, Abacos, whatever. And this is our last stop in the Bahamas. This is it. And to be honest, I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping for a beautiful, like, Exumas-like beach here, and it's just not the case. The water, we're anchored in like 9 feet, and I can't see the bottom. It's so milky for some reason. And the beaches look really rocky here, but I think you can go across and find a sandy beach. So we'll try to do that tomorrow, and run the girls around real good before we take off. But yeah, so tomorrow is our last full day in the Bahamas. Christy. I feel like a long day. So I'm gonna get her.
As the sun set, we discussed this upcoming passage. Our plan is to leave the Abaco Bank, hop into the Gulf Stream, and ride it up to about South Carolina, where we'll hop out and head into Charleston. But the intensity of the Gulf Stream means that navigation decisions need to be made extremely carefully, and any opposing wind against this ripping 3-knot current can create nasty or dangerous sea states with a quickness. And our forecast was now changing in some critical ways. So we studied our options, we ran all the models, and we decided to make a last-minute change to the timing of our plans.
So we've made a little change to our plan. We've decided instead we were originally going to leave tomorrow first thing, and we made this decision instead to leave like midday today, probably like 11 a.m. So the idea is we'll sail west from here, and that way, like right at about sunset, we'll be leaving the bank. So we'll have daylight for the shallow depths, but kind of leave the bank like right as the sun sets. And then we'll have probably a couple hours before we enter the stream, and the northeast wind that we've been worried about is supposed to clock around by midnight to be like due east. That's our big concern with leaving today, because otherwise the wind looks totally fine. It's just that the Gulf Stream is so strong that it doesn't take a whole lot of wind against it to make it just really uncomfortable steep seas.
But the far end of our forecast started looking a little bit worse and worse, which is why we pushed our departure earlier.
Yeah, so we were gonna, if we leave tomorrow, we'd arrive like Saturday evening, and that looks, they keep kind of making that end of the forecast, like the Saturday forecast, worse.
Yeah.
Lots, like more thunderstorms, the winds are stronger, and like, I feel like the wind map, they're kind of all over the place. We decided instead to go in and expect the first few hours to be pretty uncomfortable once we get out off the bank. But then it should get good. Like,
the rest of the thing is fine.
Yeah, everything else looks really chill. All the models agree on everything.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we decided to do.
That's what we decided to do late last night, like 9 p.m.
Taylor's sail plan.
Wow. Let's not give me credit for this yet until we're out there and we're...
I think it looks good. I think that was a good idea.
So we decided that last night. Right now it's this o'clock, and we have a whole lot of shit to do today before we leave around 11. So
Get the dogs to the beach.
yes.
Chandler on deck.
Yes.
Do some food prep.
Yes.
Check the engine. Top off oil, that stuff.
Yes.
That's about it, right?
Yep.
The main things.
Those some dumb things.
This dog is just...
She's snoring.
not ready.
Today, hunting one of our favorites, sandpipers. No matter how many of these passages I do, I still get like nerves, and before we go, there's just like so much to consider, especially here where we're leaving and where we're going, with timing and tides and currents and wind direction. Like, there's just so much. So I'm a little nervous, but
we soaked up the last of the Bahamian islands. And then, as we drove back to Via, we realized that this might be the last time we see her floating in an anchorage in a foreign country. More on that in a minute. But first, we have some work to do.
The bottom looks what I can see quite clean. A couple barnacles here and there, but not much.
All right, so we are just about to pick up anchor here in the Abacos and set sail for the United States. Mike is just putting away the last of his toys. So there's, or toys, tools, what's the difference? There's definitely like a lot of emotions right now, like a big mix of a lot of different emotions for the both of us right now. And we're obviously bringing this boat up to the Chesapeake for hurricane season, but the real truth is that we don't know what's coming after that. So at this writing, we are not entirely sure if we're going to continue living on a boat full time. We may, but we may not. I mean, and we're really truly like undecided. And so our plan right now is to bring this boat up to the Chesapeake, stow it very safely out of the hurricane zone, or as best as we can. And my family has a cabin near the Adirondack Park in upstate New York. And so we are going to go put the boat in the Chesapeake, and then we're going to go live out in this cabin. And we are going to kind of decide what we want to do just based on how we're feeling, right? So right now we are both very, very much looking forward to some land time, and we're so excited to be able to have some land time. Like, we're both very ready for that. But, you know, I have no idea how we're going to feel after 4-5 months of land life. You know, maybe it'll be we're tired of it and we want to get back to the boat. Maybe it'll be like, you know what, this is actually really nice. So we just have no idea. But the truth is, because there is the possibility that this is it, there's like, there's a lot, you know, and I think like there's also this crazy feeling of bringing this boat back to the United States. That's kind of nuts, having sailed around or through a continent over 3.5 years. There's something quite significant about like this boat returning to the States, like to the East, you know, bringing all the way around to the East Coast. And there's something about, you know, saying goodbye to a foreign country and all the foreign countries for potentially, you know, I don't know, maybe a while, maybe forever, on the boat. And so there's just like a lot right now that it's on our mind. It's very emotionally charged. So I think it's time to pick up anchor and get out of here.
Leaving the Bahamas, I started feeling, just like last night, I started feeling kind of really nostalgic about the last 3.5 years and a little bit sad. I'm actually excited to get back to the States, live on land for a while. I think it's just been a long time on the boat, and the things that are normally just kind of like part of the life and difficulties have just become like a little bit tiresome, which you hear from like pretty much all cruisers, is after a while it's just like everyone just needs to get off the boat and do something a little different. I think that's how we're both feeling. But I did get kind of sad, and I was just thinking like way back to like our time like way up in the Pacific Northwest when it all started. So anywho, we're hopefully gonna make South Carolina here. It's pretty wild. This has been a good last, especially the Exumas have been just a great way to kind of cap things off for us. So here we go, one last big passage.
Bye Bahamas. Bye Caribbean.
off to an okay start. It's a really nice sail right now. Wind started out of the northwest, supposed to be out of the northeast, but it's been coming around on us, so that's good. It's supposed to turn out of the east, which is what we want, so it's not coming right down the current. But we're still over the Abaco Bank, and it's just really nice sailing. So far, so good.
Crazy. This always makes me like think about what it would be like if you could always see the bottom and, like, you know, the deep water and the middle of the ocean and all these passages that we've done, and like be able to actually see all the weird shit I'm sure we've gone over in all our various passages. We're like 2 hours from being off this bank. We've been out here for, it takes 9 hours to get from that island off the edge of this bank. It is so huge. So we're still about 2 hours out, but I'm gonna miss being able to see the bottom all the time. It's pretty cool.
About an hour from leaving the Abaco Bank, and it's just such a beautiful evening out here. Wow, the sky is incredible. We'll see what happens once we hit the stream, if it turns real choppy and weird, but it's been a really good day of sailing so far. So wow, look at this sunset, unbelievable. Over here, and
so I think we're kind of sort of entering the Gulf Stream right now. We're watching our speed slowly tick up, but we're flying out here as is, so once we really get in there, we're gonna be cruising.
And then, with the full moon rising behind us, we were treated to another rocket launch from Cape Canaveral, right off our bow. And by the wee hours of the morning, our speed had crossed over 8 knots, and we were fully in the conveyor belt of the Gulf Stream, and we were riding it north.
Well, after a very, very, very lumpy, pretty uncomfortable night of just sloshing around and some confused seas, it's slowly stabled out as the wind has died. So we're just motor sailing right now, and have been for a while, but at least it's
still cruising along in the Gulf Stream, like 168, 165 some odd miles to go to Charleston. So we should be there, I don't know, mid-afternoon tomorrow, I think. I'm really looking forward to getting in. This is the last passage we're gonna do for an unknown amount of time. Looking forward to some good old American food. Maybe get some Carolina barbecue. Sounds so good right now.
With our landfall in the US estimated for tomorrow afternoon sometime, and our future beyond that quite uncertain, there was something particularly potent about this last night at sea. We really took in the sparse beauty of our surroundings. The ocean, the air, the sunset, and of course, our visitors.
Quite the little sunset treat. Wow. All right, our last night. We got a beautiful moonrise, wow. That's crazy. We got 126 miles to go until we hit the channel outside of Charleston. And we're still doing like 8.5 to 9 knots. It's incredible. I think we're gonna leave the stream probably in the next like, I don't know, 30 to 50 miles. It's hard to tell exactly. And then yeah, we'll just be kind of making a beeline for Charleston. Ah, that moon's crazy.
Our final night brought the light of the full moon, comfortable seas, and nearly 10 knots of boat speed. And then the morning arrived, we stepped off the conveyor belt, and began our final approach to the east coast of the United States.
Well, it's our last day on our trip Bahamas to Charleston. We're on our final approach towards Charleston here. We're about 4 miles from the channel on the way in, and then it's still like 15 miles to get in up the river, but we're not quite able to see land, but we are catching our first sight of structures on land, like a bridge and a lot of radio traffic. A little bit of we got a sailing breeze, but it's kind of light and behind us, so we got the motor on to keep our speed up, so that way we can hit slack water on the way in. And we want to get there. Poor Taylor's downstairs with a raging headache. I kind of have a headache. And we're just excited to be here, back home in America. After 2.5 years, I think, since we actually left the States. Committee welcoming us back to the United States.
almost at Charleston, and I have to say, it turns out that that Gulf Stream really is righteous.
Okay, grab shell, dude.
Grab one.
Righteous! Righteous! Yeah!
We always have current against us, no matter where we're going. We had a joke that we were certain that when we entered the jet stream, it would be running the opposite direction that day. Anyway, I'm pleased to report that jet stream, or Gulf Stream, was still running north. And what was our average speed for this whole trip?
7.6.
And
Major record.
not too shabby.
Two and a half years ago, after working our way down the Pacific coast, we sailed out of San Diego and into the unknown, waving goodbye to America with no plans beyond Mexico. And as we sailed into the port of Charleston on the East Coast, we couldn't help but reflect on all we've done and experienced in the time and miles between then and now. And though in this moment we were both feeling a potent mix of many, many emotions, including a lot of uncertainty about what lies ahead, far and away it was a sense of pride that overcame us. No matter what our future holds, we had just accomplished something, together in our tiny floating home.
In the USA, baby. Yeah, how doesn't get much more America than this. Oh, I think this is going to be a rolly anchorage. But we did it. Wow, wow, wow.
Join us next time as Charleston both stresses and delights us. We enjoy all the American treats and face major culture shock.
It's weird, people speak such good English here.
And we have a big problem to address before we can continue north.